Welcome, welcome, welcome. Cowboy fans, Cowboy haters alike, I'm the G. And I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. As you come in, please hit that like button. If you haven't, please subscribe. And if you can, please become a member. I've been on a little bit of a hiatus. I'm under construction. I'm in a different part of my studio that we're even this part will be under construction in another couple of weeks. But where I'm normally am, it's all taped up with plastic. So we're gonna we will be back in there in the next couple of weeks. But again, it's good to be back with everybody. So we're gonna talk a little bit about this coaching stuff that's been going on with the Cowboys. Brian Martin, what's going on? Yes, things are going well. Yes, the channel is growing in leaps and bounds. It's been amazing to appreciate all of y'all. To God be the glory. Tony Perry, what's going on? This is a tip from this is a TP from NYC. I think Shotty might be the one who convinced the Jones to go. I think so too. All in. Appreciate you, Tony Perry. Yeah, they in on Shotty, man. People can say what they want to. They in on Shotty. They were not doing this stuff for Mike McCarthy. They are in on Shotty. JS2, what's going on? He said, I say before we start lining up for playoff takers, understand this won't be a one-season turnaround. No, it's going to be two. I think it'll be, I keep saying 2026 is going to be the chip. But they get back competitive this year. A run game is going to change everything for the Cowboys. And we're going to talk a little bit about that run game tonight, of what I think they should do with that run game spot. Richard Villegas says, I can't wait for these serious coaches to be all in and turn this team into a take that media in your face. You know what? We're going to talk about that, Richard, because everyone's looking at Brian Schottenheimer. I'm not looking at Brian Schottenheimer. I think what the Cowboys are doing is absolutely genius. It's the same thing I believe they were going to do for Deion Sanders. The way you help Brian Schottenheimer is you put a lot of great coaches around. And if you look at what they've done, especially on the defensive side of the ball, they have done nothing short of put great coaches around one Brian Schottenheimer. And this is the philosophy they need with the team. Okay, you've put a great staff around Shotty. So now you come back in free agency in the draft. Now let's put a team around Dak Prescott and Micah Parsons. Let's give them a team. Let's give them a defense. Let's get a running game. Let's go get another wide receiver. We're going to do all these things. What's going on, Jose Quavado, Charlie Phoenix, Wilson Santiago, Richard Villegas, JS2, again, LaQueen, Roderick, what's going on, my brother? Missed you today. Raymond Martin, Tony Perry. Let's get some more greetings in here. Brother Alex, again, what's going on? Mr. Shouty, what's going on? Ice Cold Cowboy, what's going on? Richard Owens, what up, what up? Super Queen and King, what's going on? Yes, sir, Ice Cold, G in the house. You in the house, too. Appreciate you. Everyone hit that like button. Yes, sir. Well. Let's talk facts. So one of the things I think the Cowboys are doing that these naysayers, they're going to be wrong again like they are so many times. I think they are going to be wrong about the Dallas Cowboys. And the reason why they are going to be wrong about the Dallas Cowboys is when you think about who the Cowboys have brought in. And there are three names, well, two names in particular that really have my spidey senses tingling. Clayton Adams. I did a video on Clayton Adams. I want you to look at something about the Arizona Cardinals that is literally insane to me. And they're talking about this, guys, in case y'all might not realize it. You know, when you start looking at how some of the local people are talking about this Clay Adams move, I mean, they have me literally tripping because they are losing their brains over the fact that the Arizona Cardinals, and I don't even understand how the Cowboys are pulling this off. They are tripping over the fact that the Cowboys are going to be able or have gotten Clayton Adams. What's going on, Nisi? What's going on? Good to see you. Super Midnight, Suge Midnight. I'm sorry, what's going on? Yes, sir. I'm glad to see you here at the beginning of the live. Let me tell y'all something. They are tripping over one Clayton Adams. They are losing their mind over this, and I'm gonna show you why here. Let me look at something here. I had this pulled up the other day. I want to go back to it. I want to show you something about this dude, Clayton Adams, man. Boy, we really need to be excited about this dude. This is crazy when you look at this with the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, I'm absolutely surprised that the Arizona Cardinals let this guy go. I am really surprised because when you look at what they were able to do up under this guy as far as running the ball, let's see if I can pull it back up here. I want you to see, this is what this guy looked like running the ball. Clayton Adams. I want you to look at this. This guy, Clayton Adams, the rushing attack for this team. Rush play percentage, they were 44.69%. That's number 11. Their yards per rush, 5.3, number 2 in the league. Rushes per game, 27.2, 11th in the league. They'll run the ball. This is exactly what I want for the Dallas Cowboys. I want them to run the ball. 30 times minimum a game. Dak Prescott, 25 throws. That's all we need. 25 pass plays. Dak Prescott can still eat on 25 pass plays. 30 minimum rush plays per game. Their rush yards per game, 144.2. They were number 7 in the league. Rush TDs in the league, number 8, 1.1 yards a game. Oh, man, they're serious about it with Clayton Adams. I'm telling you, they're serious. And you listen to these Arizona guys, they're talking about this, and they're like, how in the world did Arizona let him go? I'm shocked, too. I don't see how you let a guy go like this. This is crazy. So you got Brian Schottenheimer. We already know that Brian Schottenheimer will run the ball. He's led this league in rushing. His offenses have led the league in rushing 2 times in his tenure. Now you got Clayton Adams. Had one of the top rushing attacks in the league last year with the Arizona Cardinals. And now it doesn't look like they're going to be able to get to short choice. They're not going to be able to get him. What's going on, little monk? Man, is there more in the crowd, in the crib? Yes. And you right on both accounts. Let's go, boys, and Jesus saves. Yes. G, call me old school. Cowboy, love your show. Appreciate it, Andrew. Yes, sir. Again, Sister Nisi, what's going on? What's going on? Janie, what's going on in the crib? Michael James, what's going on with you? Get right or get left. When culture changes, it trickles down. Front office is making logical moves to reset a very toxic culture. And I told y'all when they first hired Brian Schottenheimer, I noticed the key phrases they kept using. Culture, communication. Culture, communication. And it lets us know something about Mike McCarthy. And I'm telling us, guys, Mike McCarthy did not impress the New Orleans Saints. It's now coming out that he did not impress the New Orleans Saints. I don't blame him. I believe Mike McCarthy knows football. But I think if you start asking him things about coaching as in motivating men, encouraging men, getting the best out of men, he fails. He fails every single time. And so I don't want him. Yeah, appreciate you there. Get right. He said phenomenal content. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Michael Wright, what's going on? Pull that film up from 2 or 3 years ago and watch Arizona run over you. Man, hey, I'm telling you, I'm loving the fact that this dude, Clayton Adams, is going to really help us with this run game. Keep the pressure on the Joneses. And I'm telling y'all, if you listen to, I'm telling you, this is why I was telling y'all, this is not about the Philadelphia Eagles with me. They made it blatantly clear they have been watching the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, you don't have no choice. If you want the best roster in football, I'm telling y'all, the Kansas City Chiefs have the best quarterback in the league, and they have a very good roster. But the best roster pound for pound in this league right now, is the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll take Jalen Hurts, who's not better than Patrick Mahomes. I'll take Jalen Hurts and that roster over the best quarterback in the league and that roster. Man, Philadelphia Eagles are loaded. They are loaded and they're healthy. This is a battle of attrition. The team that can be the healthiest down the stretch, they typically win. And not only are they the healthiest, but they doggone it, they have the best roster. And this is another thing that put pressure on the Joneses. And I've told y'all, ulterior motive for me. I want the Philadelphia Eagles to doggone win the Super Bowl because it will put the nail in the coffin for the Dallas Cowboy fans. It will put the Joneses on notice. If you don't build a roster better than the Philadelphia Eagles, you're done. You're done. We're not even talking about the NFC. You're done. You're not even going to compete. The NFC East, I'm not even talking about the NFC East. If you don't build a roster better than the Philadelphia Eagles, you're done. And you can do it. The Cowboys can actually build a roster better than the Eagles. They have the opportunity to build a roster better than the Eagles. I was looking at this early today. I want you to look at this. I want you to look at the list of running backs that will be available to the Dallas Cowboys because I want them to do 2 running backs. Don't get 1, get 2. Get 2 running backs. If Ashton Jeanty is there at 12, take him. Don't even discuss it. I'm going to tell you something about Ashton Jeanty, guys. Ashton Jeanty is not just for the Cowboys to change. It's not just for the Cowboys to change. If I could talk to the Joneses right now, you know what I would tell the Joneses? Get Ashton Jeanty for the fans. Doggone it, get Ashton Jeanty for the fans. The fans want Ashton Jeanty. You can't go wrong with Ashton Jeanty. Get him for the fan. Now, me, I think you can't lose either way. I think you can't lose. If you don't get Ashton Jeanty, figure out who's behind you and who they want. And if you can move back and get Hampton, if you can move back and get Judkins, if you can move back and get some of these other guys, if you don't get Jeanty, then get you an extra draft pick and still get your running back in the first round. But the Cowboys, to me, the front office, they're already sending the signals. The coaching staff they're putting around one Brian Schottenheimer, everybody should be excited. They're literally putting together a championship squad. We're going to look at the rest of the defense. They haven't fully gotten the offense. I think what they're looking at now is the running back coach. But when you look at what they've done on defense, that is a championship defense coaching staff. There is no reason. If they get the players, and we already got some, and we're going to talk about one in a moment, that they're going to have a problem with. But the defensive coaches they have, you're looking at a championship level defensive coaching staff. And they've done a great job with this. But when you look at also what they're doing on offense, the last domino is the running backs coach. And when you look at where they're looking, they're not playing. Excuse me. Tashard Choice is not going to be it. Unfortunately, Tashard Choice is making somewhere around $700,000, somewhere $725,000. The Texas Longhorns, he's done nothing but put together one of the last 2 years. He's put nothing but one of the best running games in college football together 2 years in a row. and he's a great recruiter for running backs. They do not want to lose to Tashard Choice. They're probably going to give him a raise. They're probably going to give him $1 million. For the Cowboys to get Tashard Choice would literally have to be the highest paid running backs coach in the league. I don't think the Cowboys are going to quite do that. We know now. We still dealing. We got to still see what they're going to do. I don't think they're going to quite do that. But I do think they're going to bring in probably Rashad Samples. He's a very good running backs coach. I looked up some of the stats for the Oregon Ducks this year. They were ranked 126th in the nation, but there are a ton of college teams. And I think the average game was either 144 or 157. So they get a ton of yards on the ground. So he'll be another great running backs coach. So I'm not concerned about that. As Tekka said, I don't want the Shingles to win. Oh, I do. As much as I don't want the Chiefs to tie us and the Niners in the Super Bowl win, I'm going for the Chiefs. Oh, I want the nail in the coffin. I do. I literally want, what's up? They're right there. I want them to win it. But I'm telling you, the content creators, the fans, and the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders have really put some serious pressure on the Joneses, and I'm liking the change that I see, and I'm giving them every opportunity. They said it, not me. Jenny Scott, you know we in Texas. It's 80 degrees. Yes, I'm loving it too. And then I don't think we still done with the cold weather. I don't think we done. Best team, my friend, DC Forel, period. Yes, I'm telling you. I'm loving what I'm seeing. Now, for me, again, just taking a look at what's going to be available, I want the Cowboys to get Ashton Jeanty for the fans. I think it will really go a long way with the fans. But another move I want them to make in free agency is if you look at the running back market, look at this. You mess around and get Ashton Jeanty. Or Amarion Hampton. You mess around and get one of these top 3 backs in this thing. And then you say, hey, man, let me go in free agency and I'm going to get another running back. Look who's out here. J.K. Dobbins, Jordan Mason of the 49ers is going to be available. But I'm going to tell you who I would have my eyes on. I'm just telling you, me. The guy who I would have my eyes on is none other than Nick Chubb. If Nick Chubb is available in free agency, if I'm the Cowboys, I'm bringing in Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is absolutely explosive. I'm bringing in Nick Chubb. I wasn't even thinking about Najee Harris or Rico Dowdle. To me, they're one and the same. Aaron Jones, I think he could be good. I think it would be crazy if the Cowboys went back and got – I think it'd be crazy for the Cowboys if they went back and got Aaron Jones this year after they wouldn't get Aaron Jones for Mike McCarthy and did go get Aaron Jones for the Cowboys. But I saw a couple of injuries on him towards the end. But I'm telling you, man, Nick Chubb would be a monster on the Cowboys. He would be a monster on the Cowboys. And you get Jeanty, he'd be a monster. He would. Yeah, I mean, that weather was great today. Get Right says the front office has never mentioned culture. Nope. They haven't. They have not done it. It's this much of recent interviews in my lifetime. I have not heard them do it either. I also refuse to root for Philly. y'all kill me with this Philly stuff. Y'all see, not to taste Philly. I want the nail in the coffin. I do. I want the nail in the coffin because, boy, if them boys get it, everyone was tripping about the head coach hire last week, not me. And now today, my basketball team in Dallas just sent arguably the best player to away. Man, let me tell you, we're going to talk about Luka Doncic. It deserves – I mean, I know it's Let's Talk Cowboys, but Luka Doncic, I think it's a fascinating study when you think about it. We're going to look at Luka Doncic. Matter of fact, if y'all want to, we'll talk about Luka Doncic next, then I'll get back on the Cowboys. I think it's something to be said about when you're unpopular. Willie T says, the Joneses just watched Quinn leave and in his first year with the Commanders make the NFC Championship game. Yes, I love it. I absolutely love it. Ice Cold Cowboy, Team Jeanty. Yes. Michael James, Philly makes me sick to my stomach. And I think he's making the Joneses sick to their stomach too. I do. Not to mention, Kellen Moore's over there. And from all intents and purposes, it seems like Kellen Moore wasn't really interested, even though I will say that I could probably believe some of what the Joneses were saying. They said that the more they talked to Schottenheimer, they were not interested in anyone else. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure Kellen Moore was interested in the job. Some people are saying they don't think he was interested in the job or didn't show the enthusiasm in the job, because it looks like Kellen Moore is going to get the job with the Saints, and I'm happy for him. I am. He's going to get his opportunity to make his chance. I mean, he's going to get an opportunity to prove everybody either right or wrong. Sugar McKnight, if Genty is gone, O-line is first and running back in the second. You know what? I'm saying that. I'm just telling you. If Genty is gone, trade back. There are at least 10 great. I'm talking about 10 great running backs in this draft. Trade back. From the Cowboys, trade back. I would. I'd get me another draft pick. I'd get me another third or fourth. Trade back. You can get one of those backs in the second if you don't get Genty. I got a feeling you could probably get Hampton, but if not, the Ohio State guys would be there for the taking. Texas guy, the SMU guys. The SMU guy, they're going to be there for the taking. Cowboys got so much flexibility in this draft, even if they don't get Genty. But I'm telling you, the Cowboys, to me, get Genty for the fans. Get Genty for the fans. If the Cowboys get Genty, the fans go crazy. The fans go crazy if they get Genty. And I'm telling you, too, the Cowboys get Genty, I'm checking out. I done told y'all, I'm checking out, man. I'm telling you, because I already know what that means. This team is going to be crazy if they get Genty. Yeah, take BPA in the draft, fill holes for agency, plain and simple. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, the Cowboys got a great opportunity. Michael James, Cooper Rush, Amari Cooper. Yes, I'm sorry, Amari Cooper. I would get Amari Cooper. He's going to be dirt cheap. I'd bring Amari. I definitely wouldn't mind bringing Amari Cooper back. But at the same time, I don't think this should deter them. If they get Amari Cooper, get a wide receiver in the draft. There are some great wide receivers in this draft too. And these guys like Jalen Brooks, see you later. Jalen Tolbert, see you later. I don't care. I don't want those guys. I don't want those guys. I would get me a rookie, and I'd bring in somebody like Amari Cooper. I would keep Ryan Flanoy. I'm keeping Jonathan Mingo. Why? Because they're big body wide receivers. I want to see what they look like in this offense. I would keep them. But for sure, there are so many opportunities the Cowboys have to fill in gaps in this draft and in free agency. Yeah, I'm with you, Jose. We have to get Ashton Genty. Hold on a second. Let me read a super chat here. Rod, appreciate that super sticker, 99 cents, my brother. 100 underlined twice. Yes, sir. Byron, another $1.99 super chat. Appreciate you. He said maybe let go of Tank Lawrence and draft Deion Walker. Oh, Tank Lawrence is done. There is no way they're bringing back Tank Lawrence. There's no way they're bringing him back. He is absolutely done. Deontay Walker, let's see, is he the giant that everyone's been talking about? I know this is this one guy that everybody's been talking about in the Senior Bowl. His picture has been pretty much everywhere. Deontay Walker. Let me pull that back up again. Okay, Deion Walker. There we go. Okay, Deion Walker, Kentucky Wildcats defensive tackle. I think he's the guy everybody's been talking about. Some of these guys are really going to make their draft status rise with some of the things they're doing in these games. Some of these games, and I think it's the Senior Bowl we're talking about. But hey man, why not? 6'6", 345, 13 solos, 1.5 sacks. Man, I'm telling you, the Cowboys got a problem, man, actually, with Osa Odigizua. I talked about this earlier in the year. The Cowboys got a problem with Osa. I knew it. Osa Odigizua has played himself out of a contract with it. I mean, I'm not saying he's played himself out of a contract because he's been bad. Man, Osa Odigizua has been awesome. He has been absolutely awesome. The question is, Do they want to spend the money on Osa? Do they want to spend the money on Osa? Because now Osa Odigizua. Let me look at this article right here. And I'm going to tell you what the problem is. Let me show you the problem. I mean, when you think about the defensive line, when you think about the defensive line, Byron, we got a problem. And his name is Dan Quinn. We better get ready. Osa Odigizua. Let me see if I can pull this up. Osa Odigizua is an unrestricted free agent. This joker is an unrestricted free agent. And I'm going to keep it 100 with you. I don't think the Cowboys should have let him get to that point. I don't. Get right. Hold on a second. Get right. Appreciate the super chat. For the church's building fund. Phenomenal content based on common sense, logic, and rational thought. Appreciate you. Keep up the great work, my brother. Yes, sir. Appreciate you. You think about what I'm talking about, get right. I think the Cowboys made a mistake on Osa. I really do. I think the Cowboys should have signed Osa Odigizua before this. Because when you let a player like Osa Odigizua, do we not understand, and I know some of us do understand because I know some of us on here really know football. Man, let me tell you something. A defensive tackle in this league, man, it's a hot commodity. It's a hot commodity. When you can get a defensive tackle in this league, everybody wants a defensive tackle. Especially teams that want to stop the run. Now, the crazy thing, though, about Odigizua, if you read some of the stats on Odigizua actually isn't that good at stopping the run. But where he's insanely bananas is the pass game. Look at this. It says here, also Odigizua might be too expensive. Yeah. In its assessment of the upcoming round of free agency, ESPN highlighted the possibility of Odigizua escaping to Washington. Dan Quinn going to be a problem. Dan Quinn's going to be an absolute problem. It said the site wrote, his 30 pressures were tied with Jets' Kenyon Williams for the second most defensive tackles, the second most among defensive tackles. Odigizua's fit best in a 3 technique and can be pass rushing threat in nickel fronts. This dude has been killing it. Teams we've talked to think Odigizua is the top defensive tackle because of his versatility, durability, and pass rush traits. They're not looking at him for stopping the run. Washington is a team potentially to watch. Coach Dan Quinn has been a big fan of Odigizua from their Dallas days together. Y'all, I told y'all this earlier in the year. This dude, Dan Quinn, I promise you, Dan Quinn is going to be looking all around the Dallas Cowboys defense to pull some of these players that he used to have. I mean, he's already pulled some of them that we had last year, and now he's going to want more. And it's saying that they have somewhere between $77 million and $90 million under the cap. The Cowboys are going to be able to have $100 million under the cap when they flip the switch. But the problem is, will they be willing? I mean, we want them to play in free agency. The problem is they may have to play in free agency with the players that we have. I mean, what are they going to do? They literally may have to spend some of that money on our own players. It says, look at this. Tell me this isn't crazy. It says while Odigizua still struggles at times against the run, he's become one of the best pass rushers in the league, ranking 12th among all interior defenders with a pass rush grade of 78.5. He also ranked 12th among all defensive players this past season with a career-high 23 quarterback hits. Odigizua also set a career best in sacks in 2024, 4.5 sacks. Despite lackluster Pro Football Focus grades in run defense, 50.8, coverage 61.6. The 26-year-old's 68.1 overall grade, ranked 5th among all Dallas defensive players who played at least 400 snaps, trailing only Micah Parsons, Eric Kendricks, Jordan Lewis, and Deron Bland. Y'all better believe it. Osa Odigizua has officially become a problem. Officially become a problem because the Dallas Cowboys have let this man hit free agency. He's going to be a problem. And people are going to definitely be trying. I think that Dan Quinn is definitely going to try to outbid the Cowboys for Osa Odigizua. And so the issue is will the Cowboys be able to convince him to stay? Oh, yeah, Nisa, yeah, we 80 degrees up in this piece. We back in this thing. Yeah, the injury scares me, but you might be able to get him cheap. He played good this year. You might be able to get Chubb cheap. I would definitely like to I definitely wouldn't be mad if they got him. That's for sure. But there are some others. There are some others on that list too. When you talk about the running backs that will be available in free agency, again, J.K. Dobbins. You probably better get J.K. Dobbins cheap. Jordan Mason is a really good running back. Like I said, I wouldn't even touch Najee Harris nor Rico Dowdle. I mean, if I'm going to do Najee Harris, I'm gonna do Rico Dowdle. I think they're one and the same. I mean, I think Kenneth Gainwell from the Eagles would be a very good second running back for the Cowboys. I'm telling you, he did extremely well for the Cowboys. I mean, extremely well for the Eagles, and he is doing extremely well for the Eagles. Not familiar with a lot of the rest of them, other than A.J. Dillon. A.J. Dillon had an injury. Other than him, but I think there's some options here if the Cowboys, and I think they need 2 running backs. They definitely need 2 running backs. As Anthony Parker, yes, get Genty. He will be in good shape. Man, I'm telling you, Genty should be for the fans. Genty should be for the fans. Ice Cold, yeah, he might not come back because of the way they treated him. I'm with you on that too. But there are some great wide receivers in this draft. Miss Matrix, what's going on? Donald the best. Jalen Johnson, a dog. He's my second-rated back, and I think he might be the best fit for what we do after Genty and perhaps even more. Yeah, and I'm telling you, there are so many opportunities, Dono. They're not going to have an excuse not to get a great back. They're just not going to have an excuse. There are too many in here. Andre, what's going on? Oh, man. Hey, I'm gonna have to do a video on this one because, man, this dude for the Dallas Mavericks just literally let Jerry Jones off the hook. I mean, man, boy, you want to talk about folks are mad about Luka Doncic. And let's come back. Let's go to Luka Doncic for a second. I think the Luka Doncic discussion is fascinating. Luka Doncic, I think, is 26 years old. Luka Doncic is literally one of the best players in the league. But I'm going to tell you something about this move they made with Luka Doncic. They're going to either look like geniuses or they're going to look stupid. But I'll tell you this, one thing that, I think the Dallas Mavericks may be telling us something about Luka Doncic that we may not like. But Luka has been injured in the past. Now, it's kind of crazy to me, almost counterproductive that, yes, Luka Doncic has an injury history, but you bring in Anthony Davis, who also has an injury history. But I think the thing that people may not be understanding about Luka Doncic is that Luka Doncic, what they're probably saying is, so as good as Luka Doncic is, and you look at all the stats that Luka puts up, the problem with Luka is they're probably saying, well, we haven't won a championship with him. So what's going to be the difference if we don't have him and not win championships? And I think that may be the thing that they may be telling us. I know people don't like it, but they're telling us something about Luka Doncic. And I'll tell you the thing that I haven't liked about Luka Doncic. He's a fabulous player. it doesn't seem like to me, though, he cares about his body the way that he should. And I think that's another reason why they may have let him go. And I think there's the monetary reason. If they would have allowed him to play the entire season, if I'm not mistaken, he would have been eligible for a $350 million max contract. I don't think they wanted to give it to him. I don't think they wanted to give him the $350 million, just hands down. I don't think they wanted to give it to him. I also think they had no faith in his injury history. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're willing to part with one Luka Doncic. But the other part of this that's crazy to me is they didn't hardly get anything for him. It says right here. It says at age 25, Luka is a top 5 player on the planet coming off a year in which he led the Dallas Mavericks to the NBA Finals. But the thing that's crazy about the NBA Finals, they got slaughtered. I mean, they literally got slaughtered, and they probably are saying that he didn't look that good. I didn't think he really played like Luka in the finals. I just don't think he really balled out like that. Maybe it's just me. I just don't remember him balling out in the finals the way that you would have thought he would have did. And they got spanked. It says, inexplicably, in trading away his generational talent, the Mavs didn't get younger or demonstrably better and failed to even secure their future with a bevy of multiple first-round draft picks like the Cowboys did in '89 with Herschel Walker. That's the part where I was surprised that they didn't get the players. But there will be more that will come out about this. But there's another part of this that I don't think people are seeing. But when the Cowboys traded Herschel Walker, people were obviously willing to make ridiculous trades for Herschel Walker. The Minnesota Vikings were obviously not the only team that would have traded for Herschel Walker. They were just the only team that was willing to give up the ridiculous draft picks for Herschel Walker. But you have to really think about this. So you're telling me that if they could have got the draft picks for Luka, they wouldn't have got him? You're telling me that the Lakers were the only ones offering Max Kleber, it says, and in return for Luka, Max Kleber, Markieff Morris, the Mavs are getting Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and the Lakers' 2029 first-round pick. So you're telling me that's all they could get? So they couldn't shop Luka all over the league. And we're saying that no one else would give more than this? I find that hard to believe. Unless this is all they could get. I find it hard to believe. And I know people are tripping on this, but, you know, I know we're talking and giving Luka all this praise, which he deserves by the play that he's done over the years. But even though he's also had the injury history over the years too, well, are we saying the Mavericks turned down a bunch of picks? They turned down some deal? Because I have a hard time believing that if there was someone else offering more, the Mavericks wouldn't have took more. Why wouldn't they have taken more for Luka if they could have got it? I mean, this pick, it is fascinating. I mean, this trade is fascinating to me. I mean, it needs to be studied. Why wouldn't they get more? I just don't see a team that could have gotten more not get more unless they couldn't get more. Maybe when they started shopping Luka, everyone was like, thanks, but no thanks. No, we don't want Luka. No, we're not giving up this many draft picks for Luka. I cannot fathom that they could have got more from another team but they would do the Lakers a favor. I don't think they're doing the Lakers a favor. I think there may be something we don't want to admit. Maybe they couldn't get more. Maybe they couldn't. Because when you think about Luka, I don't think Luka plays great defense. He's a scoring machine. I don't think he plays good defense. I think he's a liability at this point in his career. I think he's a liability on a championship team. Luka, to me, is too talented not to be more talented. When I look at him, he doesn't look like a type of person that really puts a lot into his body. I know we got, Djokovic, I think the Joker. I mean, he's the same. He's one of them type of guys too. He doesn't look like a physical specimen, but he balls out and he puts up a lot of points and things like that. But he's been a lot more durable. Luka hasn't been that durable. He's a scoring machine when he's healthy. Doesn't quite, to me, do in the playoffs what you think he should be doing. When I look at his defense, it leaves a lot to be desired. And I'm just speaking facts on Luka Doncic. And so I'm telling us, I know people are talking about this is a crazy trade. Is it crazy? Or is it crazier? Maybe this is all the Mavericks could get. I can't accept. You're telling me that they took less to give him to the Lakers. There must have been no one else willing to give them anything. As much as everyone's talking about Doncic. It says, I believe that getting an all-defensive center and an all-NBA player with a defensive mindset gives us a better chance, Harrison said. We're built to win now and in the future. They're telling us something about Luka. He don't play defense. It's true. He's battling injury. I think they're saying that maybe he should have already been back. I think they're saying he doesn't take care of his body good enough. He should have already been back. Not to mention, Doncic was eligible to receive a 5-year, $345 million contract this season, which the Mavs won't have to pay. And I'm actually laughing. I think I was listening to Winthrop or whatever his name is, and he was saying the Mavericks had an opportunity to sign a 25-year-old to a 5-year, max $350 million contract. Why would they want to do that? I mean, why would they want to do that? Now, if Luka has been showing durability, if Luka has been showing he's serious about his body and getting it in shape, could you imagine Luka Doncic like really getting serious about his body? Getting a more muscular frame where he could be even more physical, more dominant, stronger to the basket, as well as with his jumpers and his three-pointers and all the stuff he does, how much better it would make him on defense if he had a stronger frame, how much that would help him with his injuries if he put some more muscle maybe on his body. But that isn't Luka Doncic. And if you're going to give him a $345 million contract, isn't that what you want to see? I think there just may be more to this whole issue with Luka Doncic than people are just admitting. And I know people like they crazy for trading Luka Doncic. We're going to see. It says here, in a source with the organization confirms that the Mavs have been increasingly frustrated with Luka's lack of commitment on his conditioning. They believe plays a part in his numerous injuries. I do too. I've actually said this about Luka Doncic for years. I mean, there is no excuse for a professional athlete. One thing I'll give LeBron James, and I'm not a huge LeBron James fan, but the one thing I'll tell you about LeBron James I absolutely love, this man takes care of his body. Takes care of his body. Every professional basketball player should look at LeBron James and say, I'm going to do the same thing. Just like I think a lot of professional football players, they should look at some of these players like Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry puts hundreds of thousands of dollars into his body. That's why he's still so dominant at his age. LeBron James, dominant at his age. Why? He cares about his body. Luka Doncic, extremely talented, but doesn't seem to care about his body. And I think they've been talking to him about it, and I don't think Luka Doncic wants to do anything about it. And the sad part is he's going to go to the Lakers. And I don't really understand when you put two players like him and LeBron James on the same team, they're going to be scoring machines. But the problem is, man, what your defense going to look like? Because neither one of them want to play it. Neither one of them want to play defense. So they're literally going to have to outscore teams. I mean, they're going to have to be putting up 120, 130 points a game to beat teams because neither one of them want to play offense. I really want to see what those two are going to look like together. I do think the Lakers got Luka Doncic as the next superstar to be the next superstar of the Los Angeles Lakers. I can't see LeBron James playing no more than this year and next year, and so they want to have Luka going into the future. But I can tell you this, if Luka's going to be anything for the Lakers, man, this dude better get his body together. He better get his body together. He definitely better get his body together. Andre said the Mavericks dropped the ball like they did in 2012 when they didn't sign the roster for winning the championship. I mean, we're going to see. I mean, because Andre, me and my son was having this discussion today. I just said something very simple. Everybody's talking about they shouldn't have traded Luka Doncic as if they've won championships with him. So if they haven't won championships with him, what'll be the difference if they don't win championships without him? What's the difference? I mean, you haven't won one with him. If you don't win one without him, what's the difference? I mean, literally, what's the difference? I don't. Get Right says, I agree. Osa has outplayed his additional value with Dallas. Yes, he has. I've been Osa since he was drafted. His greatness in the pass game comes from his wrestling and background. Yeah, Osa's nice. He's a problem for the Cowboys officially now. He is. Andre, that's what I think. I think that's a part of it. They didn't want the $345 million. I don't think they wanted it. Dan Quinn's Washington Cowboys, no doubt. And I think he's going to be, man, I'm telling y'all, Cowboys have put themselves in a predicament, and we can go. I'm gonna go back and forth on your comments, then we'll leave the thing with Luka. But Andre, the Cowboys have put themselves in a predicament with Osa Odigizua. They have literally put themselves in a predicament because now you have let this dude hit free agency, and you're gonna find yourself in a bidding war. And I got a strange feeling Dan Quinn wants Osa Odigizua as well as other teams. They want Osa Odigizua. They do. This dude, man, you put this. I think he's a big part of what the Dallas Cowboys want to do too. So the Cowboys, unfortunately, they may have to come off the money, but the question is, do we want to spend the money? I mean, do we want to spend the money on Osa Odigizua? Do we literally want to make him the second highest paid defensive tackle in the league? Do we? Andre said, how does the Dallas Mavericks trade the best player 25 and then come back and say the general manager is not going to get fired? Nico is stupid. The owners are stupid. Anthony Davis be hurt. Yeah, Luka Doncic be hurt too. I think that's one of the reasons why they're doing it. Luka's hurt a lot too. And I'll be honest with you, Luka hasn't been Luka when you get to some of these playoffs. They have had some very disappointing playoff losses with Luka Doncic. I mean, some head scratchers. So I just think I just think they kind of looked at this thing and said, I don't think Luka's going to be what we think he is. Donald said, if Washington gets Osa, they will have to release Jonathan Allen. We could get him. Yeah, they'll have to release somebody. How do you get to go to the NFL finals, NBA finals, and trade the best player that you got? That's crazy. I think they looked at him and said, but I don't think. I'll be honest with you. How did he look in the playoffs? You tell me, Andre. How did Luka look in the playoffs? I'm just thinking back to those playoffs, and I don't remember him showing out like that. Alex, I read the Cowboys are making it a priority to sign Odigizua. Yes. Stephen Jones said the signing Odigizua is a priority. He's a priority. C4L, Cowboy Hater Hurdle, what's going on? He said Luke has missed 22 games this season already. Yep. And isn't slated to come back until February 25th. I think that they got tired of his injuries. I don't know why you're bringing Anthony Davis, but I think they got tired of his injuries. The Clowns, A.K. Jones, looking at glory holes while the Sheagles and the Commanders winning. Man, I'm telling you, though, I think the Cowboys are making some great moves. We're going to look at that in a moment. Derek Harmon, defensive tackle, would be a great draft pick. Yeah, I think so, too. A.J. Dillon being a big bruising running back. Now, get right. They wanted to get A.J. Dillon this year. And it fell through, and luckily they didn't get him this year because he wound up being gone for the season. So they may be able to get A.J. Dillon dirt cheap in free agency. Andre said, what players get hurt when playoff time? Lucas show up when he's only 25. Great player to face in the NBA. We're going to see. I think we're going to see about Luka Doncic. But I do say this, Andre, he's not serious about his body. So, nah, I wouldn't. I mean, I can understand why I think in some of their thinking. Azteca said Nick scored an edge rusher. Okay. Cowboys got some great opportunities in this draft. They do. Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn is, I think Deuce Vaughn done, ice cold Cowboy. Now, maybe, just maybe, Shotty can figure out a way to use him. But I got a feeling that he's done. I think he's done. What's going on, Danny? Oh, he said Danny's Laker Nation in the house. Yes, sir. We got Luka. Yeah. How about them Lakers? We're going to see. We're going to see because you got two players they're not really defensive guys. So we're going to see what they do. They're going to have to really outscore some teams. They are. They are definitely going to have to outscore some teams because they don't like to play defense. Ice cold, the worst GM in Dallas is the Mavs problem. Yeah, he took the crown from the Joneses. He took the crowns. The Lucas was clutch last playoffs. He might not be able to play defense, give you a triple-double every night. Man, he got to figure out a way to do both. And I think one of the things why he can't do some of these things, he doesn't take care of his body right. What do you think about the Cowboys re-signing Tyron Smith and move swing tackle or steal spot? Well, they're in a predicament with Tyron Smith, too. Yep, they're in a predicament with Tyron Smith too. Tyron Smith. I think you're gonna have to deal with Tyron Smith. I don't see him on the free agency thing, but I do think there's some issues going on with Tyron Smith. Wait a minute, you're talking about the old Tyron Smith, right? I just thought about what you talked about. Yeah, well, you're talking about old Tyron Smith. Okay, I see now. You said re-signing Tyron Smith. Hey, man, if Tyron Smith will come back on the cheap, why not? Why not? I would take Tyron Smith. If Tyron Smith told me he could give me 8 games, 9 games, I'd take Tyron Smith. I would. And I think the question is, too, do we bring back Zach Martin? I mean, what if y'all tell me, what if Zach Martin comes back from injury and he looks like he used to look? Do you bring back Zach Martin? What do? Do you bring him back? I would really think about bringing Zach back if we can figure out a way to rework his contract. But I think they may be ready to move on from him. I do. I think they may be ready to move on to him. Yeah, Cowboy Hater Hurdle. Woo, you said Luke is falling into the Zion Williamson phase. Man, don't say that. Doncic fans are going to go crazy. Going to go crazy. Yeah, I'm just still wondering about Luka, though, because, I mean, I think we got to be careful thinking that the Dallas Mavericks are crazy for this because, again, I say, as I told my son, tell me what the difference is. You haven't won a championship with him. So if you don't win one without him, what's the difference? Maybe the first round draft pick turns out to be good they get for him. So we'll see. Skull, Dallas sports are looking sad. Hey, I think the Cowboys are on the come up, though. I'm feeling good about what we're doing. Lucas can't play defense well enough. I said the same thing, Lee. I just think Luka has been a defensive liability. And I think they sent a message loud and clear about Anthony Davis. They talking about defense. And not to mention talking about defense. Luka, man, he just can't stay healthy. I don't understand why you're bringing Anthony Davis when you talk about Luka Doncic. But, you're talking about health, but Luka can't stay healthy, man. He can't. I give you, he was in the finals last year. To me, he didn't tear it up in the he didn't tear it up in the finals. Luka didn't tear it up in the finals. And I think that's one of the reasons why they did it. Skull unknown. I said the same thing. There is no way for everybody who's saying this is a bad move. I can't believe that there were other teams that were willing to offer the Herschel Walker trade. I don't think there were teams willing to offer the Herschel Walker trade. I don't think there was a team offering 2 first-rounders, 3 first-rounders for Luka Doncic. I don't think other people are looking at this the same way that some of the fans are. If the Lakers could have got more, why wouldn't they have gotten more? I mean, if the Mavericks could have gotten more for Luka Doncic, you can't tell me they wouldn't have done it. I don't think the market was there. And because the market wasn't there, they couldn't do it. The real Daryl, what's going on? Luka's conditioning. Yes, sir. Luka's conditioning and a lack of defense was always there, for real. For real. And it came to the light for the fringe casual basketball fan in the finals. Yes, it did. I just don't think he looked good in the finals. Stays hurt. Defensive liability. And I don't think he's serious. And like you said, the condition, I don't think he's serious about his body. I just don't think a player of his talent level. I just don't think you don't supposed to have a dad bod. I'm a dad. I got a dad bod. But at 26, I didn't have a dad bod. I didn't have a dad bod. I'm not saying I was 220 and ripped, but I didn't have a dad bod. And I think what we're seeing with Luka is 100% real. I think the fans are not acknowledging something. Conditioning, lack of defense, and someone has really made another comment here, one-dimensional. And don't get me wrong, that one dimension, this boy is balling. But it tells you something. They couldn't get more for him. Because if they could have, they would have. If they could have, they would have. Some people are saying they did this for the league. I think that's crazy. Skull, I think you're kind of going along those lines. NBA ratings are down. I don't think this is going to help. Some people are saying that they took one for the league. Birdwatch 1, he said, why didn't Amari Cooper get you more than a 5th round pick? The Joneses, according to them, they wanted to get from up under the contract. But I'm going to tell you this, Birdwatch 1, I think we're realizing something. I think we're seeing the Jimmy Garoppolo thing that happened with Bill Belichick. You remember what happened when Tom Brady went to Robert Kraft, at least what the rumor has, and I pretty much believe it. Bill Belichick had decided that he was going to push Tom Brady out with one Jimmy Garoppolo. Boy, that looks so stupid now. Tom Brady went to Robert Kraft and told Robert, hey, man, get this dude off the team. This ain't happening. Nobody's pushing me off the team. And Robert Kraft made Bill Belichick get rid of one Jimmy Garoppolo. And you remember what he did? He gave Jimmy Garoppolo away for three sticks of bubble gum. I mean, he gave Jimmy Garoppolo away to the 49ers. Gave him away. I think we're seeing the same. Well, I think we saw the same thing with Amari Cooper. Now that we know the dirty underbelly of what was going on behind the scenes with one Mike McCarthy, he didn't like Amari Cooper. And after the Joneses, when they spent the money and the draft pick on Amari Cooper, Here comes Mike McCarthy, doesn't want Amari Cooper on the team, pushes him out of the team, and what do the Joneses do? They give him away for a box of Cracker Jacks and a prize on the inside. And they proclaim, oh, yeah, we wanted to get from up under the money. We saved like $20 million. But now we know the rest of the story. I don't think it was about saving money. I think it was about the fact that Mike McCarthy didn't want Amari Cooper. And I think the Cowboys were being the front office, man, now that we look at it, they were being a shrewd operator with one Mike McCarthy. I'm telling you, I realize it. They was furious with this man about losing that game against the Green Bay Packers because they felt like that he didn't have the team prepared. And because he didn't have the team prepared, look at what they did to him the next year. They stripped him down. I mean, they stripped Mike McCarthy down. And I'm going to tell y'all something, man. We ought to be really, for everything that Jerry Jones does wrong, I'm going to tell you something. One thing he did right. Now that some of these things are leaking out about Mike McCarthy. Man, this joker wanted a 5-year deal, which is what exactly I figured he wanted. I wouldn't have gave that joker a 2-year deal. Andre Mosley, yep, you're probably right. They got mad at him because of the final. Yep, I agree with you. He didn't look good. He didn't look good at all. He just didn't look good. Yep, exactly, Ice Cold. They got their new superstar. Yep, LeBron James probably won't last another year. He'll do this year, next year. LeBron James will probably ride off into the sunset, or maybe he'll go play on another team. Somebody needs to check this man's medical. But Luka Doncic is going to be the new star of the Lakers. Yep, he will be the new star of the Lakers for sure. Dallas only talked to the Lakers. I'm telling you, something ain't right about that David Everett. I just can't believe that you got an opportunity to trade Luka Doncic and you don't get more for him. That don't make sense to me. It don't make sense to me. The real Daryl, the Luka trade was to keep the Lakers relevant. I'm hearing the same thing. Golden State is done, and I do not see anybody wanting to see OKC. Yeah, I'm hearing the same thing. And a lot of people have been saying this about this. A lot of people are saying this is a league trade. Luka got exposed to guy. Oh, yes. Woo, yes. Yes, Jaylen Brown did him in. NBA is doing what they can. Ratings are down. Man, I think the NBA did a lot of dumb things over the last couple of years. I think the one thing you don't do is you don't get involved in all of any of this. I'm just saying, don't get involved in a lot of this stuff. Just don't get involved in it. If players want to do certain things, let them do it. But the league should not be getting behind anything that's going to risk the fan base. And that's exactly what they did. And I think some of the things they've done is risk the fan base, and the fans have turned their back on them. Cowboy hater said it was another team. They talked 2 weeks ago. I don't think they wanted him. I don't. Don't act like Luke isn't good. The problem is not he's not good. That's not the problem. I think the problem is when you look at Luka, if you're just going to really be honest with yourself, his defense is a liability. Defense wins championships. You can't be on the floor and you're a liability on the defensive end of the ball. Okay, you're scoring 30 points, but you're giving up 30 points. I mean, you're nullifying your points. Luka was a liability. And the other part is, can't stay healthy. Donald Clark, yeah, it was a 3-team deal. Yeah, I saw that. Cooper was scary. He was hating on the rise of CD. I don't know about that part. I hadn't heard that part. The story that's being told, and I believe it, the story that's being told is that Mike McCarthy didn't like Amari Cooper because he thought he was talking about him in the locker room. David Everett, Luka loves to drink. Celtics fan here back to back. Man, might be true. Might be true. Chunky 77 is in need of LeBron James leadership. It doesn't sound like LeBron James is too. I mean, he'll be happy once they start playing together. It doesn't seem like he's too happy about it now. Anthony Parker, Celtics are going to repeat. I agree, man. The Celtics, I mean, they got a great team. It actually makes sense now. They want defense. I mean, they basically spelled it out. The moment you say that we think that he's a better defensive player, they just said what they didn't like about Luka, defense. Andre said he just think the Mavericks don't know what he's doing. Let me tell you something, Andre. I tell you this. I don't think anybody knows Luka Doncic is better than the Mavericks. What's going on, Brandy? I don't think anybody knows him better than the Mavericks. Alan says Jerry paid Kyrie. He paid Kyrie Lacey's bond. He's the Cowboys' first pick. It's the Super Bowl. Kyron Lacey. Is that the kid who just got into the is that the kid we was talking about a few weeks ago? Got into the accident? Okay, yeah, that's the guy that got into the accident. Man, that's gonna be we're gonna see what happened. You know what? I'm gonna tell you something about Kyron Lacey. It would not surprise me. It would not surprise me. Kyron Lacey, this happens every single year in the draft. Kyron Lacey is going to dip in the draft. If he gets off on this, he's going to dip in the draft. They do this all the time. You get a great player. He does something right before the draft. Happened to Dak Prescott. Does something right before the draft. And you will quickly fall, depending upon how they're looking at it. Man, you'll fall to the bottom. Sometimes they won't even draft you. Man, I'm telling you, if they clear this kid, you know, these kids, they're young, they do dumb stuff. They deserve second chances. Now, if he's guilty, he's going to prison. So I'm not advocating for him to get off if he's guilty. But if he's innocent, he's going to drop in the draft. He may even go undrafted. And then I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys go get him. But I don't think the Cowboys are going to try to swoop in and get him in the first round. No, I don't think they'll do that. Especially when everyone pretty much knows he's probably going to be there. The real Daryl, when Luka had the beer after they beat Minnesota to go to the finals, I knew Boston was going to give Dallas that work. Yeah. Brandon said it makes sense to trade Luka. I think that's the part nobody wants to accept. I think what they're looking at, Brandy, is all the scoring. But scoring isn't enough in this league. It's not enough. It's just not. You got to play defense. Anthony Parker, Luka drinks beer. Skull says he will be that on the Lakers now. We're going to see. You know what? I saw somebody say this. And maybe it was in the comments or maybe it was somewhere else I saw this. But someone was saying that, I think it might have been on X. Someone was saying that they think that Luka Doncic being traded to the Lakers is going to be one of the best things that could have happened to him because they're saying that the Lakers will make him get into shape. I mean, they're going to make him do some things that he doesn't normally do. So I want to see if that's true. DC4L, it's done because they could get more. DC4L, that's the part I'm tripping on. It makes me wonder. I don't think they could. Why wouldn't they get more for him? It don't make sense. It does not make sense for them to get more for him. Papa J, appreciate you. Yes, sir. Y'all hit that like button if you haven't already. See what Skull says. Luka's a top 3 player. I don't know about top 3. I think where you may be right, I don't know if he's a top 3 player. I think he's a top 3 scorer. There's a difference. Now, one of the things that's happened to this league is we'll call a player a top 3 player and they're terrible at defense. But a top 3 player should be good at defense too. I don't think he's a top 3 player. I think he's a top 3 scorer. Yeah, I think he's a top 3 scorer. That's it, Brandy. I don't think that's the thing I'm saying. I don't think he's a. You know what? It may be getting with LeBron. Maybe LeBron will encourage him and show him what he does in his own off time, how he takes care of his body. Maybe he'll encourage him to do the same thing. Tatum and Brown are the best duo in the league. Hands down. I'm with you. Luka Doncic averaged 30, 14, and 10. So when Luka Duncan and the Lakers win the ain't happening. Ain't happening. They ain't winning no. I don't think they winning no championship. Luka gonna have Bron playing for 3 more years. You know what? Probably could. Probably could. The Mavs got smoked in the finals. They did not use that loss as motivation this season. That falls on Luka. Yeah, I think that's what the Mavericks are telling us about Luka. They just don't think I think they're saying something. Luka ain't what people think he is. Who knows him better than them? Who knows him better than the Dallas Mavericks? Allen said, you painted your SUV Maverick blue. You going to repaint that? Lakers versus Mavs, West Coast Finals. We're going to see. We got Luka, G. We got Luka, man. Y'all love, we'll see. We'll see. I'm just telling you, man. I just think they basically said, though, yeah, we got to the finals with Luka, but he let us down. Luka didn't play well in the finals, period. He didn't. Just truth. He didn't. He just didn't play well. AD, hey, you know what? That's the only confusing part of this. Anthony Davis is injury prone too. And to call him glass, I agree with you in a sense. He's kind of glass too. Jason Kidd wasn't pleased. Man, I'm actually laughing ice cold. Star Blazer, she pointed out on X that the GM basically was basically just saying that, you know, Jason Kidd wasn't involved. Jason Kidd didn't know anything about the trade, and Jason Kidd sitting right next to him. Man, that's crazy work. That is crazy work. How do you not tell this man that? Skull known, same thing. Dak Davis, Luka been to the championship. Should have traded Dak if that's the case. Well, you got to think about it, though. Football is different. Football is different in a sense. With Dak Prescott, whether people want to admit it or not, Dak Prescott is top 5, top 7, whatever you want to put him. Dak Prescott does a whole lot of things to where you can't really find a lot of guys like that. But when you're talking about Luka Doncic, Luka is just a scorer. That's all he is. They're not saying things about Luka like, man, Luka is not only a scorer, he's a leader of men. Luka does this on the team. Luka does that. I mean, they're not saying those things about Luka. He's not the glue of the team. If Luka was the glue of the team, they wouldn't have let him go. They wouldn't. So they're going to get an opportunity, though. We're going to see what Luka is, because I'm telling you. Somebody's either going to be wrong or somebody's going to be right. Jose, Shotty wants to change the culture. I think he already has. Will McClay said it. Stephen Jones said it. This franchise now is finally aligned top to bottom. Mike McCarthy was a disconnect. I said it early in the season. Anybody who's been following me heard me say it. I think we were watching a coach at war with his owner. I think that's what we were watching. Yeah, Luke is. I think he's a top 3 scorer. I don't think he's a top 3 player. Because if he was a top 3 player, they don't get beat like they got beat. They got beat like a drum. I mean, they got beat like a drum. I mean, you'll get beat like a drum with a top 3 player. And you got to think about Luka is different than playing quarterback on a football team. Luka's playing offense and defense. He's literally playing offense and defense, and he wasn't playing defense good. Luka's the only guy since 2011 to get the Mavericks to the finals after they blew up the team. Yeah, you're talking about with his scoring, though. I think you're all saying it. You're not hearing what you're saying. You're telling me about his scoring. You're not telling me about it. Tell me what else he does well. Now, I like Luka Doncic. Huge fan. I don't think the Mavericks should have traded him. But I can't argue with the trade. Y'all tell me. Y'all people who advocating for Luka Doncic, tell me what else he does well. Tell me what else he does well. Y'all help me out. Tell me what else he does well. Justin Bradley. Guess what? You said that Safety out of South Carolina. Justin, guess what? I think there's going to be a Sanders in Dallas this year. I think it's going to be none other than Shiloh Sanders. I think the Cowboys are going to get Shiloh Sanders as a safety. I'll be shocked if they don't. Cherry loves Deion Sanders. I will be shocked if Shiloh Sanders is not on the Dallas Cowboys draft board. I'll be shocked. And Shiloh is a good player. 4.5 40. I think he's a little light. 4.5 40. He can hit. They may actually even there's a 5th round grade on Shiloh Sanders. They may even pass him in the 5th. If he's there in the 6th, Cowboys might go get him. They might go get him. Boy, Andre Mosley, you just said a mouthful. I would too. Go get Chase Young. I think the Cowboys can get Chase Young on the cheap. I do. If I was them, I'd go get Chase Young. I think he would be great. I think Eberflus could really, really help him. Metris Adams, what's going on? I'm with you. I think if Zach Martin, because I do think he still wants to play. If Zach Martin is back 100% after this ankle injury, if I'm the Cowboys, I think about trying to figure out how to keep him. Yeah, Hoffman is good. Yeah, Hoffman, they're gonna have to do something with Hoffman too. Let me see here. I think they already got Brock Hoffman up under contract, but Hoffman, I think he's going to be one of the guys on the offensive line. But I am with you guys too. Whoever mentioned Tyron Smith. I mean, if we can get Tyron Smith back dirt cheap, I'd bring him back in just for depth. Man, I really would. I'd bring that joker in just for depth. I think he would be great. Okay, who was that we just mentioned? Let's see here. Yeah, we mentioned Chase Young. Great, youngish, hungry coaches so far. They need to hit free agency, defensive tackle, linebacker, and trade back into the 3rd or 4th. Yeah, I think I hope they do that. I think they do that if they don't get Genty. But if Genty is there, they're going to take him. Yeah, they're going to take Genty. They got to do it for the fans. They do. Yeah, again, I'm sorry. If Zach is healthy, yeah, we still got to get him. Yes, trying to see if Hoffman. So we got Hoffman. Yeah, oh, yeah. Now, Brock Hoffman is what they call he's a he's an exclusive restricted free agent. Exclusive restricted free agent. I've never heard of that. I mentioned it the other day. I'm not sure what that means. Let's look it up real quick. Some of you probably already know. He's exclusive restricted free agent. Let's see. That means he has too few. Let's see. An exclusive rights free agent is a player with too fewer accrued seasons and an expired contract. This contract's a restricted free agent, 3 seasons and an unrestricted 4. To accrue a season, a player must have been on the team for 6 or more regular season games. However, the player does not need to be active for games in the season. Keeping an exclusive rights free agent is simple for teams. All they have to do is extend a qualifying offer to the player, and he will be unable to negotiate with other teams. So basically, the Cowboys just have to offer him a qualifying contract, and Hoffman is going to be with the team. I think the Cowboys need to keep Hoffman. Hoffman is a very dirty, grinding player, and I think he's somebody that you need on your team. They need to keep Hoffman for sure. Luka don't play defense. I've been saying it, Demetris. He don't play defense. Cowboys on the come up. Oh, man, Samuel, I'm telling you, these boys is doing it. We're going to look at these coaches that they brought on in a minute. Anthony Parker says, do you think Eberflus can turn Damone Clark into a good linebacker for us? We need that, bro. I think Damone Clark, they're saying he's going to be a casualty. I think they're saying Damone Clark is going to be gone from the Cowboys. So they're going to be looking elsewhere, I think, as far as that goes. They'll be looking elsewhere as far as that goes. Anthony Parker, I hope so. Should we re-sign Jordan Lewis? Yes. But you know what? Jordan Lewis is 30 years old. I think they're saying he'll be 31 when the season starts. Jordan Lewis, the Cowboys have kind of been stringing him along, if I'm not mistaken, with these one-year deals or short contracts. I think Jordan Lewis is going to try to get paid first. So I would not be surprised. I would not be mad if they re-signed Jordan Lewis. Jordan Lewis, to me, was the best defensive back on the team this season, but I got a feeling that Jordan Lewis may be gone. Justin Williams, what's going on from Germany? Appreciate you checking out the show. Michael Wright, I've been saying Luka Fat. Man, he got that dad bod, man. This dude, man, just imagine if this dude really took care of his body. Justin Bradley, J. Lou was one of the only bright spots on defense. Oh, man, he was the best defensive back on the team. Bar none. Bar none on that thing. Yeah, J. Lou, they're going to sign him, though. And I don't think they're going to be able to sign J. Lou on one of these little one-year deals or whatever they've been doing this whole time. No, J. Lou going to want to get signed this time. J. Lou is not going to take this stuff the Cowboys have been doing. He's not going to do it. Jordan Lewis is actually an unrestricted free agent. Nah, he ain't going to do that again. Only way he do that is if nobody wants to bring it, if nobody wants him. They don't. David Everett, Mavericks didn't talk to anybody else. Think AD is the missing player to get a chip. Man, boy, if they thinking, maybe could. Ice Cold, Jimmy G with his OnlyFans. His OnlyFans account making billions. He's making more millions for no reason. Oh, man, please tell me you're not telling me the truth that this man got an OnlyFans account. Now, I'll tell you this. Now, I do remember Jimmy G. When Jimmy G first came to San Francisco. Now, anybody know anything about San Francisco? San Francisco has a huge corn market, if you know what I'm saying. And he went out on a date with one of these top corn models. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy G is dabbling in that lifestyle. I hope it's not true. Anthony said, I'm upset Diggs going to be out he's going to be out for a while. But according to Stephen Jones, Trayvon Diggs is going to be back in time for either training camp at the beginning of the season. I'll be honest with you, with the issue that Trayvon Diggs has, I think Trayvon Diggs actually needs to sit out to mid-season, if not the whole season. Still got cartilage issues going on with his knee. They make this dude come back too early one more time, and he's going to be done in his career. Mac Muffins is now at home eating biscuits and gravy, whoever you talk about. 007 Lakers are real. We're going to see. Andre said, you telling me that a man who averaged 34, 10, and 10, how to hurt me, led the league in scoring way better than Anthony Davis. I just think they're saying something about his defense and his lack of conditioning. Robert says, as much as I blame DQ for selling out with the zone D versus Green Bay, McCarthy should have told him to get out of that D. Yeah, he should have. Lakers versus Celtics in the 2025 finals. They can sell the hype off the rivalry week before and lead them to, hey, yeah. They saying this is a league trade. Maybe they did this real, Daryl, so they could get the ratings up. We're going to see. If Luka doesn't get in better shape, yep, I'm the same way. He got to get in better shape. He got to get in better shape. That's really the bottom line. And I think that's one of the things they're saying. Keith Rivera, what's going on? Cleveland Cavs beating Boston. Uh-oh, okay. Jared, what's going on with you, man? Nick Wright seems to believe the Eagles don't have Nick Wright, man. Nick Wright seems to believe the Eagles don't have much of a chance and might play poorly. It ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen. Anybody hoping the Eagles are not going to play good? The Eagles, put this in our minds. The Eagles put up 35 points on the Kansas City Chiefs the first time they played. I think the Kansas City Chiefs might have been better the first time they played. And the Eagles are 10, I won't say 10. The Eagles are 3 times better than when Kansas City saw them in the last Super Bowl. You better believe the Kansas City Chiefs are going to need all the help they can get from the refs, because I'm telling you, Jared, this Philadelphia roster is sick. And Saquon Barkley gives them something that the Kansas City Chiefs don't have. Saquon Barkley is a home run hitter. Saquon Barkley is a home run hitter. I will not be, if Saquon Barkley is the MVP of the Super Bowl, I will not be shocked. I will not be shocked if he's the MVP of the Super Bowl. It's going to be either him or Jalen Hurts. Because, again, any team that plays the Philadelphia Eagles, they got a problem. You got to explain to me, and I think Spagnuolo is going to do his best job. He got a problem on his hand. How do you stop both of those guys from running? How do you stop both Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley? Not to mention, are we forgetting the Eagles had the number one defense in football? They get after quarterbacks. Their safety play is extremely good. They get after quarterbacks. This Philadelphia Eagles team is the best roster in football. The Kansas City Chiefs have the best quarterback in the game. But I'm telling you, man, this Philadelphia Eagles team is loaded. John Clark, I hate that AD is not consistent and it doesn't. Man, let me tell you something. I'm with you. John Clark, if Anthony Davis could stay healthy, he would literally be one of the top 3 players in the league. Can't stay healthy. Can't stay healthy. LeBron James not demanding a trade for now, although rumor is Golden State may be a destination. Boy, that would be crazy. If LeBron James went to the Golden State Warriors, that would be crazy. Anthony Parker said, don't let this regular season fool you. They playing good right now, but when Boston is healthy, they trouble. No doubt. They're better than everybody. Nisi, yes, Lyle Collins. That's exactly what I was thinking in my mind. Lyle Collins fell off of just the fact that the police questioned him. The man did nothing wrong. It's how we got Randy Gregory. Randy Gregory was a weed smoker. Before Randy Gregory and the weed, he was projected as a top 5 player. He was literally going top 5 in the draft. So that wide receiver from LSU, man, if he gets off, the Cowboys probably can get him on the cheap. And if they were able to get him on the cheap, oh, it would be a steal. Ice Cold, G looks like he can whoop some. Man, I don't know about that part. Some people probably think it, though, Ice Cold. Andre said, Luka is the new face of the league. LeBron's about to retire. You know what? I'm going to tell y'all something about what's wrong with the NBA. All of the superstars are old. It's one of the problems with the NBA. All the superstars are old. Where are the superstars to take the place of the Steph Currys, the LeBron James, the Kyrie Irvings? He's he's not as old, but I'm speaking on these older players. Where are the replacements? Now, we got the Boston Celtics. They're really the duo there is really good. But when you look outside of them, it just seems like the league is really missing the next signature superstars that everyone loves and is talking about. And like I said, I think the league did a lot of dumb things in some of the things they did, and I think this is another reason why they're falling off. And so we're going to see about Luka Doncic. But I think he's got to get better with his with what he's doing. Janie Scott, you have a good doctor's visit. Pray all goes well for you. Ice Cold, yes, same thing. Praying for good outcome. Justin Williams, he's injury prone. Yep, out of shape. And I think he relies too much on the talent that he has. Edward Tanker, get off defense. Nobody plays defense anymore. Hey, man, you know what, though? Edward, I think that's one of the reasons why the NBA ain't good either. Everybody's shooting threes. This is a different NBA. The referee is not going to let you play defense. Give me something new. You know what? I think it's one of the reasons why people are bored with the NBA. I don't think the three-point game, when you got a good mixture of the three-point game, the mid-range game, guys under the rim, dunks, rebounds, dunks, things of that nature, I think that's what people want to see. But the problem is, Edward, is the three-point, man, the three-pointer has made the game exceptionally boring. Boring. LeBron only cares about LeBron. He ain't helping no one. Yeah, I agree with you there too. All right, Jenny. Appreciate you. The new owner doesn't know Luka enough. Even Jason Kidd. Oh, yeah. Boy, Jason Kidd face said it all, didn't it? Jason Kidd face said, man, this is some straight up bull. This dude was not happy. Luka, Mavs have a better chance to win the chip. You know what? Ice cold Cowboy. Somebody's about to be right and somebody's about to be wrong. Mavs had a better chance to win the chip right now than Luka less Lakers today. Somebody's going to be right about this. Tired Cowboy fan, what's going on? You don't trade a 25-year-old 5-time straight All-NBA first team or go for an injury-prone 31-year-old player. Yeah, both of them injury-prone, but I don't understand how you bring in Mr. Glass. I'm with you on that part. One draft pick 4 years from now, it's inexcusable. They telling me, tired Cowboy fan, that's all they could get? That's all they could get? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Justin, Dak's going to be great this year. I'm with you. Dak's going to be great. Gee, I disagree. They lost the finals because of Kyrie Irving. He was a ghost. Luka Doncic got his average and put up great numbers. I don't know. I just didn't think he looked that good to me. I just think when you're his type of player, I'll give you a prime example. You know what people were wanting from Luka Doncic in the finals? Michael Jordan, when he got to the finals, ironically, when the Boston Celtics beat the brakes off the Chicago Bulls. The one player on the Chicago Bulls that everybody knew, okay, this dude is a force to be reckoned with. It was Michael Jordan. Michael Jeffrey Jordan when the Boston Celtics beat the brakes off of him. Jordan showed up. Jordan didn't get his average. Jordan didn't get his average. Jordan came in that thing and showed out, and everybody said, man, this dude the real deal. Luka didn't do that. And Luka's too talented not to be doing stuff like that. Way too talented. Way too talented. Yeah, Justin, only the clueless blame Dak, but they're not going to have to worry about it this year. They're about to put a team around Dak. It's going to be on. They're about to put a team around Dak, and it's going to be crazy with it. You're going to see, I think we're going to see from Dak Prescott. This will be the best 3 years of Dak Prescott we've ever seen. Brian Schottenheimer did the same thing with Russell Wilson. Dak Prescott is better than Russell Wilson was in his career than when Brian Schottenheimer got a hold of Russell Wilson. Dak is still really, really, really good. You can't name more than 4 to 5 quarterbacks in the league that's better than Dak Prescott. When they get a running game around Dak Prescott, they're going to get him another wide receiver, and they're going to put a defense in front of him. You watch what this team is going to look like. The run game is going to be crazy. It's going to take them on a whole different level. It is. The run game is going to put this team on a whole different level. Whole different level. We still need Dak not to force feed. Oh, you know what? They're not going to have to worry about it. Schottenheimer's going to run the ball. And the thing I like about Schottenheimer, I don't think he's going to be listening to CeeDee Lamb with all his complaining and crying. Nope. He's letting this team know it's going to be a run-heavy team. Appreciate you, Andre. God bless you too, my brother. He said this is going to be a fun year, Cowboy. Oh, man, DC, Mr. Brightside. Man, let me tell you. It's going to be a great year for Cowboys. We're going to get to watch Jerry Jones clown on Netflix. We're going to get to watch the resurgence of this team with the running game. It's going to be on and popping. Yes, sir. Pop Shop, we had to mention Luka Doncic. He's over here in Dallas. Everybody's been talking about it, so we had to mention it. Cassie Stewart, Luka Doncic, he's the player for the Dallas Mavericks. Everybody's been talking about it, losing their mind over. Jeannie Buss, like Leslie make a slogan, Luka's Lakers. Yeah, we'll see. But we're going to find out all this stuff about that and more. So let's kind of switch gears. Like I said, though, the Luka Doncic thing, it's crazy. We'll see more coming out about that. Pop Shop Talk. Shiloh is a hitter. I think he's going to be with the Cowboys. I think Shiloh Sanders is going to be with the Cowboys. I will not be surprised if Jerry get him in the 5th. And if he knows he can get him in the 6th, he'll probably get him in the 6th. But I think Shiloh Sanders comes to the Cowboys. He can hit. He can hit. Zach is done. I don't think he is, Pop. You know what I think he's going to do? I think he's going to go to the Cincinnati Bengals. I think there'll be another team that want him. I think there'll be another team that want him. Think about joking. They finally started to win when he put more effort into his defense. Yeah. Nick Sorensen. Wait a minute. You don't like Nick Sorensen? Okay, Nick Sorensen. Let's switch gears since you mentioned Nick Sorensen. So Nick Sorensen is one of the coaches that Cowboys have brought in. And so you're saying that Nick Sorensen is a bum. You don't like the Nick Sorensen pick. Let's go to the Cowboys coaches they picked up. Let's see. I got that up here. I want to look at the coaches they brought in. Okay. So you don't like Nick Sorensen. I thought everyone liked Nick Sorensen. He's going to be the special teams coach. He can't do much. I mean, let's be honest. Can he do any worse than Bones Fossil? I just don't think he can do any worse than Bone Fossil. Nick Sorensen is the special teams coordinator. I don't know. For me, I didn't think that was a huge loss. Y'all tell me what you think. I didn't think he was a huge loss. They got Matt. Of course, we got Matt Eberflus. Nick Sorensen is the special teams guy. I don't think that's a big deal. Andre Curtis as the defensive passing game coordinator. Dave Borgonzi as the linebackers coach. I think that's a very good one. He worked with Eberflus. Aaron Whitecotton, he's the defensive line coach. I really like this Aaron Whitecotton guy. I think the Cowboys the defensive line is going to be a lot more nastier. I'll tell you what I think was crazy. The thing that I think is absolutely crazy, I'm assuming this Andre Curtis guy must be the defensive backs coach. Do y'all know that Mike Fisher, I saw something where Mike Fisher was saying that there were a lot of people on the Cowboys that were glad Al Harris was gone? I was shocked. But I mentioned this in the season. If you think about what was happening to Mike Zimmer, I kept saying this. The one thing that was betraying Mike Zimmer's defense was poor secondary play. Now, they turned it around towards the end of the season. The secondary got better. The safeties were playing way better. And the cornerbacks, of course, Deron Bland, he played really good, but of course he got burned some too. But I thought the safeties played a lot better towards the end. And they were saying that a lot of people didn't mind it. They didn't mind that Al Harris was gone from the secondary. I was shocked. JS2, Tyron Smith should retire. Same with Tank Lawrence. Oh, Tank going to another team. You're not going to worry about Tank Lawrence. He's going to another team. No, Tank Lawrence set out on purpose. He was not playing for the Cowboys hurt. He already says, he said it. He's not going out like Willie Foo-Foo. He plans on playing on another team. Pop Shop said, I love when we draft players who wants to be here. I think they're going to do a lot of things through the draft. This is exactly what we complain about, keeping players when they are done. I think the only player, Zach Martin, is done with the Cowboys. I don't think they're going to bring him back. D-Law, done with the Cowboys. They're not going to bring him back. I think the Cowboys are trying their best to get young. I was just saying, though, I was just wondering about Zach Martin. What do you guys think about Zach Martin? I think if he was playing good, I'd probably bring him back another year. But I think the Cowboys are done with Zach Martin. They are for sure done with D-Law. Because if I'm not mistaken, Stephen Jones said that Zach Martin's contract is going to fall off the books this year. DeMarcus Lawrence, it may be the other way around. Either D-Law's contract falls off the books this year and Zach Martin's is next year, or vice versa. But they're going to be able to get from up under those contracts that they've been pushing down the road. So the Cowboys are trying to get younger, and they're not going to – I don't think they're going to sign Zach Martin anyway. I think it was always planned that Zach Martin wasn't going to get signed again. And I think Zach Martin saw the writing on the wall. And I think that's one reason why Zach Martin, when he got his contract redone, what was it, last year when he held out? Yeah, I think they need to get Genty for the fans. They have got to get Genty for the fans. Genty is for the fans, period. End of story. Tyron Smith, like I said, if he can still play, I mean, I might bring him in for some depth. Let him sit as a backup. I don't know if he can do it. Some people are saying they put Damone Clark out there too quick. We'll see what happens with him. Jay Lewis been a great last season, but it's time to move on. He's 8. He's 30 years old. 30-year-old defensive backs don't, they may move on from him. Henry takes care of his body. He does. Yeah, Jimmy G. Yeah, Kiara Mia. Yes, sir. Hey, he dabbles out there in that. Man, it wouldn't surprise me if he's doing OnlyFans stuff. This dude dabbles out there. And in that market, and man, it's out there in San Fran. If Shotty is Stevens' coach, is this a sign that Jerry hands Stevens the keys to the team and walks away? I think so. Now, isn't it strange, though? I said this a week ago. Isn't it strange? Why all the changing when Steven picks the coach? All of a sudden, when Steven picks the coach, Stevens now comes out and says, our goal is to put the best staff in the NFL or the best roster together in the NFL. Why wouldn't you get to pick the coach, Steven? Isn't this all kind of crazy how this is setting up? When Jerry is picking the coach, it's going to be hard with the salary cap. I mean, paying these players, you want to pay your top paid players, and it's hard to put players around them players, you know, when you want to keep the Dax and the CDs and the Micahs and you know, you got to get players at below market value. Isn't it strange that Stephen Jones, when it's Jerry Jones's coaches, but everyone is saying that Brian Schottenheimer is Stephen Jones' pick. Y'all remember him at the press conference? You know, he's going to do some things different than Mike. You know, I could identify, in difference with me and Jerry, me being up under Jerry and the differences we have. I can identify, and, Brian, Schotty's going to do some things different than Mike, I mean, this is Stephen Jones. When he gets his coach, all of a sudden, now Steven is like the whole franchise is aligned. It's aligned top to bottom. He's continuity and change. Oh, I mean, now we're getting all this stuff from Stephen Jones. This is crazy when you think about it. Maybe this is Stephen Jones. Maybe, y'all, this is Stephen Jones saying, if I take the franchise, I need to win with the fan base. And so now maybe this is their ploy at Stephen Jones trying to win over the fan base. This is crazy when you think about it. Why now? Why now that Stephen is making this big change? Why? Why is Stephen making this big change? Why is Stephen talking in ways we've never heard Stephen talk before? It's crazy when you think about it. Why in the world is he doing this? Maybe this is the transition. Maybe they want to show the competence of one Stephen Jones. Because I'm telling you, man, this is a different Stephen Jones to me. And it's crazy to me now that he's gotten his pick at head coach. Man, they're literally trying to get this man the best coaching staff in the NFL. This is, and I'm not going to call it as great as the Jimmy Johnson coaching staff was. But when you look at the defensive coaching staff, I mean, this coaching staff is reading like a who's who of coaches in the NFL. You get Matt Eberflus. He's an ex-head coach. And he's really good at defense. His defenses have been really good. His last year in Chicago, I think, was really good. The defense fell off the cliff when he left. The Indianapolis Colts, they kind of improved year over year. And they didn't really have big names on the defense. And Jerry, one thing Jerry's going to do, Jerry may not, we're going to see what kind of team he builds, but one thing Jerry's going to do, Jerry's going to have big names on both sides of the ball. He doesn't build the best teams around those big names, but he's going to have big names on the other side, on each side of the ball. And he may actually build, because I think that they want this thing with Schotty to be right. For whatever reason, they want this to be right. And I think they're going to do exactly what they're saying they're going to do. Now, to build the best roster in the NFL, because the best roster in the NFL right now is the Eagles. To build the best roster in the NFL is going to take 2 seasons. I think they're going to do a really good job this season of filling in a lot of gaps. I think they're going to get a lot of the players they need, and they'll get a few players that they want. The Cowboys could be competitive, probably win 10 games, somewhere around 11. Following season, they will get to go in the draft, and then they'll be able to get best player on the board. They probably won't be drafting for need because this is going to be the year they're going to be drafting for need. They'll be in free agency. They'll be picking up for need. And then next year, they will be drafting best player on the board. Best player on the board. And when you can draft best player on the board versus drafting for need, now you're building a championship team. Now you can specifically say best pass rusher on the board. Best offensive lineman on the board if you still need one. Best linebacker on the board. Best cornerback on the board. Best safety on the board. You can do so many different things when you get the team filled up the way that they need to. And I think this is what they're going to do this year. So to build the best roster in the NFL, I believe it takes at least, and because you don't need the quarterback, you don't need the wide receiver, you don't need, you got Micah Parsons on the other side, you got DeRon Bland, DeMarion Overshown will be back in 2026. You won't need that. We'll see how Trayvon Diggs comes back. You got pieces, so you're going to be able to fill in so much. You're going to be able to fill in so much. Next year, 2026, is when you're going to really be able to do and turn this team around. Anthony Parker says, diehard fan, I hate the Eagles. I'm going for the Chiefs. I can't do it. Especially when the Chiefs be getting all this help from the referees. The Parlay Boys, what's going on? He said, bro, did you see the way the Rams passed that dominated the Eagles and they escaped that game? They can be had by the Chiefs. You know why they can't? We might not want to admit this. But the Los Angeles Rams may literally have one of the best defensive lines in football. Their pass rush is scary quick, and the Chiefs aren't built like that. The Chiefs aren't built like that. And I'm going to tell you one thing about this league. Matchups matter. You mess around and get the wrong matchup. You can be better than that team per se on paper, but the matchup may be bad for you. And the matchup for the Eagles, man, the Rams were a bad matchup. The Rams were a bad matchup because they can rush the doggone passer, man. They really can. They can rush the passer. I mean, they could rush the passer so good that Jalen Hurts could barely get away from him. Chiefs aren't built like that. There are actually very few D-lines built like the Rams defensive line. Problem with the Rams is they fall apart everywhere else. And let's give the Eagles credit, too. They were also able to hold the Rams. Even with Matthew Stafford and the crew that he has over there. The Eagles can beat you every kind of way. Ice Cold, Saquon Barkley should have stayed with the Giants. Stayed with the Giants, but the Giants didn't want him. Boy, the Giants look like fools now. They look like fools. Ain't no way you let a running back like that go. There's just no way you do it. Wicked, man, what's going on with you? He said, can you talk about Cam Newton's comments about the Cowboys? Man, this dude, Cam Newton be getting on my nerves. I told y'all about these ex-players. These people are not the same, man. These players be saying some of the dumbest stuff they do. And to say that Josh Allen had no shot, well, he did have a shot. There are two things that need to be called into question about the Buffalo Bills against the Kansas City Chiefs. What was going on with the play calling? The play calling for the Bills was absolutely atrocious. What was going on with the play calling? Why were they not running the ball more with the running backs? What was going on with the Buffalo Bills? And we already know, very questionable call. Very questionable call on, what was it, the 4th and 1 they didn't give the Bills. They clearly showed them lined up over the ball that was clearly in offsides. I mean, there was all kinds of things happening in that game. And you better believe the Buffalo Bills absolutely had a chance to win that game. And I still say the problem with the doggone Kansas City Chiefs, people can like it or hate it, but when you play the Kansas City Chiefs, you're playing the refs too. You're playing the refs with the Kansas City Chiefs. You might as well get ready for it. If the Eagles really want to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, their best bet is to get on top of the Chiefs to the point that you take the refs out. They got to get up on the Chiefs. They got to get up. It can't be 3 or 4. They got to get up on the Chiefs by 10, 13, 14. They got to get up on them some kind of way, because if you let the game be close, they will literally take the refs. The refs they'll basically take the refs or the game. The refs will basically take the game from you with the Chiefs. But Cam Newton has made a couple of dumb statements about the Cowboys. I hadn't went and seen what he said about Dak Prescott. His whole thing about the Cowboys tanking for Arch Manning, dumb. You're not paying Dak Prescott $231 million a tank. It's dumb talk. And then the other comment that let me know everything I need to know about Cam Newton. Cam Newton has become, there's something not right about Cam Newton. And I think one of the things you're seeing with Cam Newton is a man that needs the money. I was just tripping the other day. Now he's on some survival show. Now he's been talking about he can't support his 8 kids. He went and joined ESPN. I don't understand why a man who has the following that he has on 4th and 1, unless ESPN gave him a bucket of money, why don't you do it? I mean, you have your own platform. You can say whatever you want to say. The sky's the limit. He went and joined ESPN, and the moment these people join these 3- and 4-letter networks, their whole thing changes. Their whole shtick changes. And they start saying things just for the sensationalism. Wicked. Cam Newton, to me, and I'll say this, there was about a 3-year gap. Cam Newton was probably the most dominant player in the NFL. But to hear this man say he would take the MVP that he has over a Super Bowl, I see exactly why this man didn't win. I see exactly why this man underachieved. That has got to be one of the most selfish statements I've ever heard. And for me, anything Cam Newton had to say after that, no credibility. Now I know why he didn't jump on that fumble. He'll tell you he don't know why. No, I know why. Because you say that individual accolades are more important than winning a Super Bowl. Cam was basically a one-man team with Carolina Panthers almost. Nah, Cam lost all credibility with me. I won't take away from how good he was for about a 3-year span. I mean, when you talk about this guy from high school to junior college to college, I mean, Cam Newton, people don't understand something about Cam Newton. And some of you probably do. for Cam Newton to be as physically gifted as he was. Physically gifted. Cam Newton, so physically gifted. I don't think there's ever been a quarterback that physically gifted. It's a travesty this man didn't win a Super Bowl. It's a travesty. It's an absolute travesty when a player is that talented and they don't win Super Bowls. But then when you start listening to him talk and saying all this stupid stuff, you can tell his mentality is crazy. It's crazy. C-Base, please let Genty be there at 12. I'm telling you, if Genty is there, there's no way they pass him up now. They got to get him for the fans. They do. Alex, Dax need weapons. They're going to get them. You watch what I tell you. They're going to get Dak weapons. And I don't think it's just that they're giving Dak weapons. They're going to give Shoddy weapons. This is Stephen Jones' pick. It seemed like Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones on the same page on this. They want to make sure that Schottenheimer is successful. And they want to make sure that Stephen is successful in his, it seems to be his first pick of a head coach. They're going to do everything to make this, they're going to make everything to make this right. Y'all watch what I tell you. They're going to do everything they can do to make this Brian Schottenheimer pick. They're going to do everything they can do to make it right. They are. They're going to do everything they can do to make it right. The Cowboys are going to do things, guys, that we just haven't seen them do before. They are. They're going to do things we haven't seen them do in a long, long time. And it seemed like to me, they doing some of this Jimmy Johnson stuff. Now, we don't got the Herschel Walker trade, so we're not going to be able to get the Herschel Walker trade. But as far as some of the things they're doing some of this Jimmy Johnson stuff. They got the coach. They're getting the coaching staff. They're going to solidify that by the end of the week. And other than Nick Sorensen, somebody mentioned Nick Sorensen. So other than Nick Sorensen, I haven't heard anybody complaining about these Dallas Cowboy coaches. I absolutely love what they're doing. They're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. People are focusing on Brian Schottenheimer. Don't focus on Brian Schottenheimer. What matters for a head coach is the same thing that matters for a quarterback, the same thing that matters for most teams. Who are you putting around them? Well, look who they're putting around Schottenheimer. They're putting people around Schottenheimer to where all he has to do, Schotty, we don't need you to actually tell the coaches what to do as much as we need you to galvanize the coaches. Be the connection, the communicator, the culture builder between the owners, basically the front office, the coaching staff, and the players. If you'll build that link, if you'll be the glue in between all of that, that's when the magic happens. This is the skill set they got Shotty for. And they're basically saying, Shotty, don't worry about the rest. We're going to do everything else for you. We'll put everything else around you. And it's exactly what they're doing. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Oh, no, Warren Johnson. Nah, brother, we're not screwed. Have you not seen these running backs? Not only we just mentioned the running backs that'll be available during free agency, but this 2025 NFL running back class, brother, I am sorry. If you don't get a running back in this class, you don't want one. We got to understand something, guys. The fall off between Ashton Genty. I mean, what fall off are we talking about? This kid, Amarion Hampton, is a beast. He's the number 2 ranked running back. He's a beast. What is he? 4 points? 4 points behind Ashton Genty? He's an absolute beast. I'm telling us. So I am not worried. I am literally not worried about if they don't get Genty. I want them to get Genty if he's there. But if Genty isn't there, you got Amarion Hampton. Some people talk about Caleb Johnson. I actually don't want Caleb Johnson. I'm looking for guys that are running 4.4s. I don't want no 4.5. You got Amarion Hampton, 4.46. Dylan Sampson, 4.35. He's a little light. I thought that was Texas. Okay, that's Tennessee. Dylan Sampson. I mean, you got the kids from Ohio State, Trayvon Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, both 4.3, 4.4 40s respectively. Their ranking is 85. I mean, you got so many opportunities. Jordan James, Oregon, 5'10", 4.45. Devin Neal, 215, 5'11. The other kid, I don't want anything 4.5. I meant Brashard Smith. This dude, 196, 5'10", 4.41. He's going to be a steal for somebody in the draft. I mean, there is no reason. There are literally, what is that? 7 running backs in this draft running 4.4s? No, we're not screwed if we don't get Ashton Jeanty. We're not. No. I'm telling you, there are going to be running backs drafted behind Ashton Jeanty, and we're going to be shocked because they're going to be good too. They're going to be good to great too. They are. They're going to be great. Yeah, Shiloh is a good player. He needs to learn to wrap up and tackle instead of trying to kill every hit. He ain't going to be able to do that in the NFL. He won't last long in the NFL like that, Chad. He'll be done in the NFL so fast it'll make his head spin in the NFL. You can't run downhill on these running backs. You run downhill on Derrick Henry, your career over. I mean, your career over, man. Some of these running backs will end you as safeties today. They will end you. Anthony said Nick Sorensen played safety for the Chiefs. Yeah, I think he was the defense coordinator for the 49ers last year, and now they're going to bring him in as special teams. DC4L, Mr. Brightside said, I don't believe AJ is going to be there at 12. Boy, I know, but I'm hoping he is. I'm hoping he is. I just don't see how he gets past the Cincinnati Bengals, but I'm hoping that he is. If Shiloh Sanders can get up to at least 200 pounds, yeah, you got to get a little bit more weight. He, to me, is a future as a quality safety for a lot of years in the NFL, could be a classic hard-hitting safety. I think he could even play, I wonder if he could play cornerback. He's 4'5", 40 guy. But I'm with you. I think if he put some meat on them bones, be a great hard-hitting safety in this league because he got some speed. Yeah, Chad, he needs to bulk up. He needs to bulk up, and I think they'll do that for him in the pros. Jeanty is not going to be there at 12. Now, let me tell y'all something. I don't know. I got to do some more research on this. But they are saying something. They are saying that Tankatron has been eerily successful with these mock drafts. And they're basically saying that some of these players that are available, that these teams, because one thing I know for sure, I don't know if he makes it to the Cowboys, but I think he'll get close. And the reason why I think he'll get close, because I think when you look at these top 4 picks, this is happening. Book it. I don't know what in order, but Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Shedeur Sanders, and Travis Hunter, they will be the top 4 picks. I don't know in what order. Obviously, this kid, Mason Graham, I've heard a lot of people talking about this kid, Mason Graham, from Michigan. I saw him as people saying they want the Cowboys to get him. Will Johnson, I'm not sure about him. I don't know a lot about him, but obviously he must be a crazy good cornerback to be at number 6. Will Campbell, offensive tackle. So the issue is, you think about McMillan, Mikael Williams, Kelvin Banks Jr. So when you think about those 10 players, if those 10 players don't go in the top 10 in some kind of order, well, they're going to change up the whole draft, because that means that one of these players then are going to fall to the Cowboys. And if one of these players fall to the Cowboys, will we really be sad? I mean, you think about it. So if Mason Graham is on the board when the Cowboys get there and Jeanty is gone, are we mad that the Cowboys took Mason Graham? I think not. I don't think we're mad if they get Mason Graham. Think about it. If this draft order is wrong, I think we may be looking at this the wrong way. If this draft order is wrong, maybe we shouldn't we still be excited? Shouldn't we still be excited? Because they have, let's see, who is it? So they got the Bears. I think I said Cincinnati Bengals earlier. Maybe. Okay, so we got the Bears. The Bears are there, and so are the 49ers. I think the danger is, you think about this. I think the Cowboys are at 12. I think those top 4 picks are solidified. Now I'm going to even say the top 5 picks. I don't think Mason Graham is falling past 5. Y'all tell me if you think he is. So you look at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Those are 6 picks before the Cowboys. So if we don't get Genty, so you're telling me you're disappointed if you get Will Johnson, Will Campbell, Mac Millen, Mikael Williams, Kelvin Banks Jr., or James Pierce Jr. You're telling me you're disappointed. I would have a hard time being disappointed if you can still you're still in the top 12. I don't see anybody being disappointed if you could get one of those players. But if you don't want one of those players. Now, for me, I don't think there's no way the Cowboys can pass on Mac Millen. If Mac Millen is there when the Cowboys come up and Genty is gone, you have to get Mac Millen. If I'm the Cowboys, if Kelvin Banks Jr. is their offensive tackle, I would trade back. I would see if someone else wants, because I don't think the Cowboys need to get another offensive lineman. Y'all tell me what you think. I don't think they need another offensive lineman. I would literally see if anybody else wants Kelvin Banks Jr. Now, if this dude, James Pierce Jr., is there, obviously he's a good edge rusher. I probably don't pass on him. But if there's somebody here that someone else wants, I mean, this top 12 is golden. Even if we don't get Genty, we're going to be great because we get to get one of those players. We're great. So all we have to do is get one of those players. Or if we don't want one of those players, trade back. I promise you, these teams in 15 and below, they would love to have one of these top 12 players. If someone's willing to trade back, they'll take them. And they don't have another running back even going. They don't even have another running back even going in the first round. Now, I'll tell you this. Also, when you start looking back here, y'all tell me what you think. There is one kid that if he's on the draft and we don't get Genty, there is no way that if Emeka Egbuka is on this doggone draft board and I'm the Cowboys and they don't get Genty, there is no way I don't get this kid. There is absolutely no way. I am getting this kid if he's on this board. I'm taking him over Luther. There is no way I don't get Egbuka. This guy to me looks like he's going to be a crazy talent. Crazy talent. Speed, hands, situational wide receiver. He is a very versatile wide receiver. 6'1", large catch radius. I still don't understand the Luther Burden III thing. I mean, I looked at his stats and looked at some things on him. I'm like, why do they have him at 21? No, I would literally, Egbuka, there's no way. He's on that board, I'm getting him. I'm getting him if I don't get Genty. But I'll say this. If you don't get Genty, you have one of these guys between 6 and 11 that you can either get or you can trade back, and you can probably get another second or third round draft pick. Because I'm sure that there's some of these later teams, they would value us. We got to get McMillan. But anybody else, if you say, hey, we already got DeRon Bland, we got Trayvon Diggs on the contract, we want to see what Carson's going to develop into, so we'll pass on a Will Johnson, see if somebody else wants him. Trade up to get him at 12 if Genty isn't there. Any of these guys, Will Campbell, Mikael Williams, Kelvin Banks Jr., I don't know if you probably pass up on Campbell. I mean, I don't know if you pass up on McMillan and Williams, but I would trade back on the other ones. I would trade back. I don't think we need to do no more offensive line in the first round. I'm tired of doing that. It doesn't seem to be. I don't know if it's working out the way that we want it to. Tamara Carter, what's going on? She said everybody was hurt in the secondary at the beginning of the season. Yeah, it was a very injury-prone season. It was crazy. Anthony Parker, Shiloh can start over Malik Hooker right now. I think they're going to let the safeties go. I wouldn't be surprised if they let both of them go. Tamara says she thinks Zach is done. Ice cold. Tank is going to Cleveland. He going somewhere because I don't think he's gonna quit. Lord Nova 8595, what's going on with you? Clement, what's going on? He says not only are they getting young, the coaching staff are young as well. Yep. The Cowboys are getting younger all the way around. They are. And I am not going to be surprised because everybody is wondering what happened with the Jason Witten thing. And I got a theory on the Jason Witten thing because even everyone's like kind of like, okay, they were making this a stipulation for both Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore. But I think the Brian Schottenheimer thing kind of maybe made them say, well, this is why we wanted Jason Witten. But Shotty may be the very thing that we were looking for because that's kind of probably what they want to do with Jason Witten. But I'm not going to be surprised if Jason Witten rears his head maybe another year or two down the line. Because Brian Schottenheimer is directly linked to Dak Prescott. He got a 4-year deal. It exactly lines up with Dak Prescott's deal. And I think they're basically saying that if Schottenheimer and Dak Prescott don't win together, both of them are gone. They're both gone. And I think they even want to get younger. I think they want to continue to get younger. So even Shotty will be gone. Steven didn't pick the coach. That's what they're saying. They're saying Brian Schottenheimer all the way with Stephen Jones. All the way with Stephen Jones. And I think he is Stephen Jones' pick because you can tell how he's talking. Yep. Everybody's been saying that was a Stephen Jones pick. They were saying that long before, even when they were doing the coaching search. Everyone was saying Stephen Jones was pushing for Brian Schottenheimer. Anthony Parker, Genty would be a threat. They'll all be a threat. They'll all be a threat. Are you watching the Genty thing? If you look at these other running backs compared to Genty, no, they're all going to be a threat. He's not the only threat. Genty is not the only threat. He runs a 4.42. Hampton runs a 4.46. I mean, they're all going to be a threat. Genty is great, but so is Amarion Hampton. Amarion Hampton is great. Dylan Sampson runs a 4.35. I think he's a little light. He's 190 pounds. He runs a 4.35. Speed kills. Speed absolutely kills. Look at what they're saying about this dude. Sampson's elite burst and lateral quickness project him as a potential game breaker at the next level. No, they're going to win. No, Ashton Genty is not the head and shoulders best running back in this draft. He's the best running back in the draft, but not head and shoulders. Let's stop pretending like the drop-off from Ashton Genty is like we're talking the gap is like the Grand Canyon. No, it's not. We do understand he's from Boise State, right? We do understand the competition that he played against. We did see what he looked like against Penn State. He got some yards, but you better believe those were some tough yards. Meanwhile, when you think about the Trayvon Hendersons, the Judkins of the world, they're going up against top tier talent. They're literally facing top tier talent. I mean, they only won a national championship. I mean, they're facing top tier talent. When you're talking about those type of running backs, they're going to be great too. You're Trayvon Henderson, you're 208, and you're running a 4.39 40. That is ridiculous. You're 219, 6 feet tall, and you're running a 4.49 40. That is ridiculous. That's ridiculous. No, the Cowboys cannot fail. They can't. They can't fail. Ashton Jeanty, please, y'all, do not lose your mind if they don't get Jeanty. They will still be great if they get another running back. These are the kids. We saw them. Did anybody not see Ohio State in the playoffs? Their running backs were superb. Game breaking. They were superb. Trust me, the Cowboys will be fine without Ashton Jeanty. They get him, great, but if they don't, they'll still be great. Steven seems to be more reasonable, practical boss. This can be positive, and I think a part of it is Brian Schottenheimer was his idea. Steven doesn't want to look bad and wants to show that his way works. Exactly. It's not daytime soap opera. This is love and hip-hop. It is. It is. I'm telling you, it's strange to me how he's moving now. When he gets his when he gets his coach. He's moving different. And I think, again, this could be a transition. Jerry wanted Johnny. Steven stopped him. We got Zach Martin. Yep. And if you listen to the way they talk, I think Stephen Jones was out on Mike McCarthy before Jerry was. I think Stephen Jones was out on Mike McCarthy after the Green Bay loss. He was out. He was out. And I think they were out on Mike McCarthy from the moment they brought him in the office. And the reason why I know it is I said it before I even heard it. They made this man an offer that he could. Not couldn't. They made him an offer that he could refuse. They made him an offer he could refuse. They had all kinds of stipulations on what this dude was and wasn't going to do. And I'm telling you, I will not be shocked because Jerry said it. We wanted Brian Schottenheimer to call the plays. I do. I think they want him to do it this year. Lead time, I think so too. Steven has been in charge. He was the one to make all the bad decisions. Jerry's getting the blame. I believe that too. So he knows he has to fix what he's destroyed by being tight with the cap during free agency. I think he's going to do some things right now. I do. What's going on, Jeanette? I think he's going to do some things right. CB4L, Dak losing every defense game plan is to stop the run. Let Dak beat us. They're not going to be able to do that going forward. You can't do that going forward. And that's what the Cowboys see. A lot of people don't understand. This is what the Philadelphia Eagles did. Okay, stop the run game, make Jalen Hurts beat us. You can't do that now. You can't do it. The Baltimore Ravens tried to pull it off. Stop Lamar Jackson from running. Okay, we'll bring in Derrick Henry. The problem was with the Baltimore Ravens, they gave up on the doggone run game way too quick. They panicked. They gave up on it way too quick. The Buffalo Bills said the same thing. We're going to bring in a run game. They gave up on it way too quick. They went back to playing football the very way they were playing it before they got the running backs. Okay, battle ram Josh Allen. Nope. Wrong thing to do. It's the wrong thing to do. All right, guys. Let's see what we got here. Ice cold. 5 future Pro Bowler running backs in this draft. No doubt. Ice cold. They can't lose. They cannot lose. There are too many doggone good running backs in this thing. If they don't get them, they don't get them. Caleb Johnson. That's the 3rd rated one, right? Now, me, I can't get with Caleb. If he's I think you're talking about the 3rd ranked. Yeah, I can't do the Caleb. You know what? I can't say I can't do it. I mean, he's 6'4", 5". Man, I want a home run hitter. He, to me, is more of he seems to be a grinded out back. I want a home run hitter. But I'm with you, though. You know what? You'll do good with him, too. They're all going to be good. This draft, in the first 10, they're all good. You can take all 10 of these kids, and they're going to be good. Ice Cold said, I'm drafting Caleb Johnson for my bench in fantasy football. Hey, G, what's going on, Daniel Graves? He says, I'm excited to see what the Cowboys do this year. Love the show. God bless. Appreciate you. Oh, man, I'm telling you. I'm so excited about the Cowboys this year, man. I am so excited because of all the things that they're doing. And the thing that's really got me excited is if y'all are not paying attention, the Cowboys are telling us what they're doing by the way they're hiring the coaching staff. Matt Eberflus's defense is going to be absolutely nasty. Watch what I tell you. They're going to get this man some studs on defense. They're going to be nasty. They're absolutely going to be nasty. Ice cold. Jenny would be automatic. Yeah, if they get Jenny, it's gonna be on if they get him a line, especially. Boy, you love that fantasy football, don't you? They get him a line, he's gonna be crazy. Quentin Scott, there's only one way is that an A+ draft is important, that the starting running and that start running back. Yeah, I'm telling you, the Cowboys will send a message to the NFC East by getting a running back in the first draft, especially if it's Genty. He says, but man, I care if this pick is going to be a steal and that Ashton or any other team, Graham and etc. going to work. I just don't think they can lose being in the top 12. Because like I said, I'll trade back if I don't get Genty. Darren, what's going on? Someone is going to trade up or trade down and ruin the whole trajectory of the draft. I think so too. And the Cowboys could be it. If they don't get Genty, trade back. I'm not even worried no more. I'm trading back. I'm trading back. I wouldn't even sweat it. I'm trading back. I'm awake. Or you? You definitely need O-line help. You'll see. I think they already have their offensive line. I think they already have it. They just got to get it healthy. Man, that dude Abdul Carter, boy, you want to talk about, man, I wish he could fall to the Cowboys. I'll take that joke over the running backs. I could get me a running back in the second. Man, if I could get Abdul Carter, oh, man. Whew. Browns want Cam Ward. Yeah, they're going to have to replace Deshaun Watson. They're never going to get anything out of that deal. Browns want TET as they've already have Jonathan Brooks. Yeah, this draft, you know what? This draft, I think it may turn out totally different than anybody think. Giants will take Genty just to keep him for the Cowboys. Yeah, I can see that too. And play against him twice a year. They need to replace Saquon Barkley. David Everett would trade up just to make sure to get Genty. You never know. D. Kills will salute to you, G. Appreciate you. Let's see here. All right, guys. I got to get back in here, man. I got to get this studio finished. I'm the only one working on it. I want to get it done by the end of the week. I got my call-in stuff situated. We're going to do a call-in show here coming up this week. I will be doing a members-only video coming up this week for all of the members that are on here. Just a message for you guys. I'll be doing a members-only video. And I think I'm going to start the call-in show because you are the early adopters of the membership. I think I'm going to start the call-in show with the members first. Don't worry, everyone else. You're going to get into, but I'm definitely going to give the members, the channel members, the first dibs at the call-in show. So I'll be putting that out in the members-only video. So y'all be on the lookout for that. I'll put that out sometimes either tomorrow or Tuesday. And then y'all will be the first participants of the call-in show. And I'm probably going to do the late show probably 2 times a week. And I'm definitely going to do some call-ins on that. That'll be some good call-in stuff on the late show. So y'all get ready for all of that. We got some great things coming, but we got to get this doggone studio finished over here. I got to get this thing finished. But I appreciate you. Yeah, LA Dot, change. I love it. Kevin Ellis, what's going on, man? Jerry Jones did it despite resistance. Purple Soul, what's going on? All right, guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow. We're gonna be back at our regular time, man. I mean, a lot of these guys all of a sudden done start live streaming. I'm not mad at them, but they done tried to take my slot where I was and they were not. So I'm gonna have to just go back to my spot. It is what it is. I'll see y'all tomorrow at 6:30. Y'all hit that like button on the way out. Become a member if you haven't. Until next time, let's talk Cowboys when we talk facts. Peace.